Hi lovelies and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stronad and here is Bellistic G's where I spill it all. Guys, don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first person to be notified.
So lovelies, there have been a breaking news of the rulings of the ICJ concerning, what has been happening in PAL and in ICJ. So there's an update, and this update actually got a lot of people talking, like, though the people of P actually is in celebration, even though they've not gotten what they really wanted out of this ruling. Guys, I was just able to put on some stitch as well as, people stitching the videos and try to add their own opinions, guys. Please leave your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and don't forget that this channel does not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We are just here for educational purposes, guys. So please share this video, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
My name is Naledi Pandor, and I'm the South African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation. I wish to begin by thanking the judges of the International Court of Justice for dealing with this matter expeditiously. Given the urgency of the need to protect innocent civilians in Palestine and to ensure that the harm that South Africa has referred to in the case it brought before the ICJ, that harm is addressed and that people's lives are saved. The saving of life is not merely with respect to having a ceasefire, it's to ensuring that humanitarian aid is provided to those who need support, as well as ensuring that the state of Israel, which is currently the occupier and administrator in Palestine, provides the necessary basic services that the residents of Gaza and the West Bank require. This case was very much about international bodies ensuring that they exercise their responsibility to protect us all as global citizens. All member states of the United Nations have attached their signatures to a range of instruments, but when lives are threatened, these instruments are not brought to bear. And South Africa had the view that we could not stand idly by and continue to observe the killing of thousands of Palestinian citizens who had no role in the awful act of hostage-taking and killing that was done by Hamas. And therefore, we thought it important that we do report and apply to the International Court of Justice that the measures provided within the Convention for the Punishment and Prevention of Genocide are brought to bear, and that the state of Israel is called upon by the judges to act to protect civilians and to end the massive level of harm that we have seen since the Israeli action began. And we agree entirely with the judges that Hamas should release the hostages that they're currently holding. We also, in our various engagements with our partners internationally, believe the moment is now ripe for there to be negotiations for a two-state solution to end this conflict decisively.
In case you missed it, the ICJ has ruled that some of the evidence South Africa brought against Israel on claims of genocide are plausible. That's good news. Now that we all agree that the sky is blue, we can demand a ceasefire, right? Quite the opposite, actually, which is very bizarre because they sat there and read genocidal statements from Israeli government officials. They also talked about all the different things that Palestinians are going through, from starvation to being killed to being displaced, and then said, carry on killing and bombing. Just tone it down, make sure you provide aid, and give us a report in a month to make sure that there are no genocidal things happening. They also ordered Israel to punish anyone who incites genocide, which is the biggest joke of the century because we know that's not going to happen. And currently right now, Palestinians in Khan Yunis are trying to evacuate for the 100th time. After watching the ruling, I got on Instagram and I was scrolling on Saleh's stories and I saw this photo and it completely broke my heart. All I could think was, how many times in this man's life has he been through this? And then I see this little boy, and all I could think was, how many times is he gonna have to go through it? I don't know what I expected today, but what a disappointment.
Okay, so I know people are now waking up to like the news of the ICJ hearing and what the ruling was. I'm gonna tell you right now, we do not have a full out ceasefire, but I will tell you, a lot of major news networks are airing it today. They aired it, but I'm going to try to explain everything the best way I can. Now, from the jump, the court recognized that South Africa does have the evidence to bring Israel to court, so they didn't throw out the case altogether. They essentially did a recap of statements made by Israel's government leaders that were genocidal, by UN people who were saying what the conditions in Gaza were. This is very important. The ICJ says that Palestinians are a protected group under the Genocide Convention. Now, the overwhelming majority vote was on these. Now, this is not everything that South Africa had requested. This is basically the ICJ's version. This was a majority, like 15-2 ruling and like 16-1. The one that basically was against like South Africa altogether was the judge from Uganda, which immediate side. But essentially, this is a summary that is requesting Israel must halt attacks on Palestinians, halt incitement against Palestinians as a group, ensure humanitarian aid, preserve evidence, submit response to the court within 1 month of them taking these measures. All parties are bound by international law and calls for the release of hostages in Gaza. I'm sure my lawyer mutuals will explain this a lot more better because this is like literally just happened like less than 5 minutes ago. But this is where we're at, right? I can only expect for Israel to go harder when it comes to their bombardment on Gaza in the West Bank. They were already doing it this morning, and I'm just really scared of how much harder they're going to go, because any type of thing done in favor of Palestine, it just basically rivs them up more. So we all just really need to pray over the next few days.
The International Court of Justice just ruled today that Israel must take all measures to prevent genocide in Gaza, but they stopped short of calling for a ceasefire. So this is definitely a blow to Israel, as they were hoping that the case would be dismissed outright. But it's slightly disappointing that the court didn't call for an end to the military campaign. Not that they have any real power anyways, which is the problem with international law, as my buddy Nick points out here. The US and their junior partner Israel have a long history of just ignoring international law. I mean, look how many times now the UN has voted that Israel needs to give back some of the Palestinian land and allow refugees to return to their homes. And the only countries who voted against these resolutions were Israel, the US, Australia, and then some tiny countries like the Marshall Islands, which are essentially US neo-colonies. And Israel has just ignored these rulings. They haven't given back any of the land. They've continued building settlements, and they've continued bombing people in Gaza and Lebanon and Syria. So while it's great that South Africa's case against Israel has exposed their genocide to the world, this is also exposing to the world the weakness of international law. The powerful countries are just going to continue to do what they want to do.
Okay, here we go. So the World Court just had its first ruling on the provisional measures that South Africa wanted implemented in its case against Israel for genocide. Okay, remember, this is not the actual genocide case. These are just the provisional measures South Africa wants implemented while it brings the case to the World Court. So think of this like if a person got convicted of murder and had a bail hearing. In that bail hearing, the judge is deciding if this person is an immediate danger to society and should they stay behind bars before their court date. That's essentially what this is. It's saying, is there enough probable evidence that the act of genocide is happening? And if it is, then these are the provisional measures we need to take now to stop it from happening while we argue the actual case of genocide in court. And here are the rulings. First thing, South Africa has standing to submit the case because Israel was trying to get the case thrown out, but the court said no. They have absolute jurisdiction. We have absolute jurisdiction to go ahead and try this case. The court has ordered Israel to take measures to punish the incitement of genocide. That means all of the language and rhetoric you hear the officials in Israel saying. Israel must take all measures to prevent genocide. Pause to read that. They must start allowing humanitarian assistance in Gaza. They also stated that Israel has a month to produce a report that goes over all of the things it's doing and the measures it's taking to prevent genocide and to enact these provisional measures. They have to submit this report to both the court and South Africa. I know a lot of people are going to watch that and think that the World Court in the UN is an absolute joke. This is not enough. They are giving them a month to submit this report. We all know how dire and pressing the situation is and what can happen in a month's time. But this, at the very least, will send a clear message to the rest of the world leaders in the world that Israel is probably committing genocide. You cannot continue to ignore the atrocities going on. And so now it becomes, what do you do with this information? Because now the whole world is watching how you move after this. Are you going to make the World Court and make all of these systems we have in place look like a joke? Or are you going to uphold the principles and values and the trust you want us to have in these systems to protect us? If never again doesn't mean never again for anyone, it means eventually for everyone.
I finished watching the ICJ's verdict in the case that South Africa initiated, and basically the International Court of Justice defends Palestine, and it determines that they will reject Israel's request to dismiss the case initiated by South Africa. And also they stated that some allegations fall under the Genocide Convention, and Palestinians appear to be a protected group under the convention, the G Convention. And at the beginning of the preliminary ruling, they said that Israel's actions in Gaza may constitute genocide, which was obvious, in my opinion. So today's verdict rules to be an overwhelming majority, 15-2 against, and that Israel must bring to an abrupt stop the attacks on the Palestinian people. They need to ensure humanitarian aid. Israel must preserve evidence, and they need to submit a response to the court within a month. So let's take it one by one. So the first one was that Israel must bring to an abrupt stop the attacks on Palestinians. I want to show you something. This was posted today before the ICJ ruling by the IOF today at 8:20 UK time zone. So let's have a look. They will carry out strikes on dozens of targets. So they will have operational centers, weapon storage facilities, observation posts, operational meeting points. So basically they keep attacking people with the excuse that they want to get rid of the age group. The second one was to ensure humanitarian aid. If I do remember right, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I've seen trucks with humanitarian aid trying to enter Gaza, but they were stopped by the Z people. They blocked the humanitarian aid to enter Gaza to help people, and they actually posted about it on social media. The third one was preserve evidence. So Israel must preserve evidence, like the original evidence. The problem with this is that they've fabricated like lots of fake information. So I wanna see what evidence they will preserve. That's gonna be a challenge for them because the world already seen the reality. And the fourth one was to submit a response to the court within a month. To be honest, I'm curious about their response. So everything that has been said in the in the court today. The transcript and everything, it will be available on the ICJ website today in due course.
Israel. Here are some key takeaways of what happened today at the ICJ. Now, the ICJ did not rule on a ceasefire. However, they stated that Israel must take necessary steps to prevent a genocide and that they must increase the humanitarian aid that will go into Gaza. They also stated that they have jurisdiction over the case because there's evidence and intent that Israel committed genocide. Now, the ICJ gave Israel 1 month to report back to the ICJ, showing the ICJ what Israel's doing to prevent the genocide from happening in Gaza and allowing more aid to go into Gaza. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu said that this ruling was outrageous and that the war on Gaza is going to continue. The ICJ also is calling on Hamas to release the hostages.
Folks, so the ICJ, they made a ruling ordering that Israel needs to take measures to prevent acts of genocide. Now, I could not find the details of what these steps are that they feel that they would need to take to prevent acts of genocide, even though genocide is already allegedly occurring. It's also important to note that they did not call for a ceasefire. Watermelon officials and others who were involved were hoping for that to be included in the ruling. It's also super important to note that although this is thought to potentially have far-reaching consequences, the court has no power to actually enforce it. So once again, they are being asked, not told. The judges haven't yet ruled on the merits of the genocide allegations. They said that that could take years to decide. Watermelon officials said that the judge ruled in favor of humanity and international law. But as predicted, BB has already let people know that they are going to continue to do what is necessary to defend themselves. So I have already seen a lot of watermelon people celebrating this because they have been begging and hoping for any kind of action for decades. We are talking 70 plus years. And so although this order is not perfect, it doesn't have the ceasefire in there, it doesn't have any enforceable action, they are happy to see some kind of movement. So what do you guys think is going to happen as a result of this? Let me know in the comments.
South Africa won. The International Court of Justice just ordered Israel to stop committing acts of genocide. It's such a weird feeling because you don't want to be right about that, but at the same time, it is so powerful to actually have some recognition of what's happening and some legally binding orders to make them stop. I'll do a different video going through the detail of the order they made, but I just want to remind everyone that this doesn't mean the genocide case is over and that Israel's been found guilty. It just means that South Africa was successful in getting the court to place some temporary measures on Israel to get them to stop what they're doing because
so lovely. Even though the ICJ ruling was exactly what everyone was not expecting, because a lot of people was expecting for them to rule like a ceasefire and all of that, but the Palestinian people was also happy about the outcome because they have been begging for any form of interference. And so lovely, because of this, the International Court of Justice, that's the ICJ, ordered Israel on Friday to take actions to prevent acts of genocide as it wages war against Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip, but stops short of calling for a immediate ceasefire. The court actually ordered Israel to refrain from any acts that could fall under the Genocide Convention and to ensure its troops commit no genocide acts in Gaza. At least some of the acts and omission aligned by South Africa to have been committed by Israel in Gaza appears to be capable of falling within the provision of the genocide, the judge said. The ruling requires Israel to prevent and punish any public incitement to commit genocide against Palestinians in Gaza and to prevent evidence related to any allegation of genocide there. Israel must also take measures to improve the humanitarian situation for Palestinian civilians in the enclave. A lot of people were actually disappointed because the court did not demand an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
something that Israel said would allow Hamas militants to regroup and to launch new attack on the country. The court also said it was, gravely concerned about the fact of hostage held in Gaza and called on Hamas and other armed groups to immediately release them without conditions. Although a majority of at least 15 out of 17 judges voted in favor of imposing the so-called provisional measures, including the court's president, Joan Douglas. But another thing that actually got the internet talking and everyone angry at a judge named Julia Sabuton of Uganda was the only one to vote against all 6 measures adopted by the court. So the court has actually instructed Israel to submit a report to the court on the step he has taken to comply with the order within a month of the ruling. The court will examine in details the merit of the case, a process which could take years, and everybody is just saying that this is just nothing. Because people were expecting, a ceasefire, or maybe just call off a ceasefire so that these people could, live their life again to a normal thing. And I was just trying to say, okay, what if they want to still fight this Hamas of a thing? Why is it that they cannot do this if they cannot do this while hurting these innocent people? Like, they can still bring out measures to go about all of this without hurting these innocent souls that has nothing to do with anything that is happening or anything that has to do with, this terrorist group. So a lot of people have mixed feelings about the ruling. Some people are happy, at least the people which is affected are happy that something is at least done, like a step has been taken. But a lot of people were actually expecting something more. Like, people were expecting something like a ceasefire, like, what everybody was just expecting. But the court did not do this. They actually gave, their own ruling based on what they feel is comfortable for both the people of Palestine and the people of Israel. But let's see what the outcome is. Let's see if this will, reduce the level at which these atrocities is being committed. So at least I am still impressed at the fact that the South African people, they are the people that actually came forward. They are the people that came forward to actually speak on this thing that's been going on for months. A lot of people have the opportunity to come out to speak up, to come out to fight for these people, to come out to fight for the people of power. But everybody was just trying to get, how it is in the political arena and all of that. But people of, South Africa decided to come up and stand up. And this is something that is so, that is so awarding. At least, even if they didn't get a ceasefire, they didn't get, what everyone was clamoring for, at least they get something to prevent some certain things. But it's now left for the people of Israel to take these measures. Are we sure that they're going to take these measures? Let's just watch and see what happens. That's what everybody is just scared of. Because if there was something like a ceasefire, this will at least, But I saw another video, which I'm going to, stitch, where the minister was like, they are just going to do everything possible for them to, prevent any form of attack from this terrorist group. So with this statement, do you think that there's going to be a ceasefire? Do you think that this will not just continue, happening, and they will just keep telling us that they are trying to retaliate back? They wouldn't want to sit down and watch, themselves be humiliated by this set of, terrorist group. So let's just pray that everything, comes to an end. Let's just pray that these people have the heart to at least put these innocent people, innocent civilians, innocent, that doesn't know or have a hand in what is happening, which they keep telling us that they are just like a shield, that the group of people, those terrorist group of people, are using them as a shield to protect themselves. Like, seriously, lovelies, the way this thing is going, I don't know, like, I just wish that everything just come to an end. Because anytime I open my TikTok or maybe online, it's always one video or the other talking about how these people are living in misery, how these people are like, this is just a breath of a little fresh air. And they were also ordered to release some land. They were ordered to release some lands for these people. But you know how it is. You know how it is. Like if it is where things are done rightly, these people should be able to listen to what's the ruling, like to listen to ruling and work according to the rulings. But we don't know what is going to happen right now. We don't know what is happening. We don't know if they're going to take these measures. We just hope that everything just, come to an end. I actually posted videos concerning all of these happenings in Palestine, in Gaza, and all of that. That is why I'm just giving an update. And guys, I also pray that this thing that has happened and the international courts was still involved. I hope this also goes to the people of Congo. There is a lot of things happening in Congo that no one is even trying to, talk about it. But they said, if you do not remove something in your eyes, no one is going to do that for you. So I'm also using this avenue to talk about things that is happening in Congo. There's an underground genocide happening there that somebody has to set himself on fire just to prove a point that, okay, we are actually suffering in this area. We need people's intervention. Since the media don't want to talk about it, the media don't want to bring it up. I wish the way they're bringing out, all of these that's happening in Gaza, Palestine, this should be the same way they do that in Congo. Because these people are also human. They've been calling out, but the media is not really taking it so seriously. It's not taking it so seriously until, was it last 3 months? Or 2 months, someone have to set himself on fire just to prove a point, just to get the attention. And after that, I have not even heard anything about it, which I'm still going to research to see if there is an update. Then I'll bring it here for us. So we just need helping hands. We just need, all of us are human, and we have right to exist and coexist. Enough of all this, trying to humiliate one set of group of the other, all because you feel that you are superior than this particular set of people. So because of that, I want to use that advantage to suppress this kind of people. Like, this is not right in the side of humanity and the side of God. So I am a little bit relieved, and no, not even a little bit. Everyone is happy and relieved, at least for some extent. At least something was done. A little, no matter how little it is, something was done. They were not absolutely neglected. If the South African government didn't pursue this, nobody would do that. But at least they are at least happy. Something was done, even if there is not call for a ceasefire. It is better than still neglecting them like that and trying to, claim deaf ears. Like, it's a little bit belief, it's more better, but just that it now depends on these people to carry out this. If it's gonna work out fine, then fine for everyone. So we are just gonna cross our finger, watch them, and see what they are gonna come up with, and see what they can do, and see if all of this misery every day that we see online popping up is going to reduce. At least if you're fighting, or you want to fight against any terrorist group, you should go after this terrorist group and leave the innocent civilians that has nothing to do with these terrorist people. Like, you should find every measure possible to fight these terrorist people and not getting involved with these people you claim that they shield. Seriously, let's just call a spade a spade. Anyways, lovelies, thank you so much for all the love and support. If you have watched up to this extent, don't forget that this channel does not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We are just here for educational purposes, guys. So please share this video, subscribe to my channel if you've not done that already. And if you are coming from Belinda's channel, thank you so much for all the love and support. If you watch, I'm just trying to diversify what this channel will be bringing out and all of that. So I'm just trying to do everything I could possibly bring up to this channel just to make it, interesting to be. So I'll just do my possible best to bring to you guys interesting TikTok virals and all of that, so that you guys could just relax. If you don't watch TikTok, if you're not a TikTok kind of person, just relax, chill, and just bring a popcorn. I'll be bringing you daily juicy update and virals, thing you need to hear and see what the word is all about. I'll just try my best to bring all the completions, the stitches, and all of that to you. So guys, do me a very huge favor again to like and subscribe to this channel, and also turn on notification bell. And when you turn in on notification bell, that is when you will get notified anytime I upload videos, because I saw some comments that people like my videos are not popping up on their page. So I will recommend that you should turn the notification bell on. Just click on it. That way, anytime I upload a video, you will just pop up the video will just pop up, and you will see that okay, I have a video. It's to solve your problem of not seeing my videos pop up. So that is it. And thank you so much for love, support, the share, the comment. No matter how little it is, I am super grateful. I will see you lovelies when I upload my next video.